Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of Potomac. This is season 8? Yeah, season 8, episode 17. So let's get into it. So before we get into it, y'all, I'm annoyed because I thought this was the last episode of the season. I really did, because every other show that I've reviewed recently, like Beverly Hills and Miami, I think the 18th episode was the first episode, like the first part of the reunion. Whereas it looks like Potomac's going to have 21 episodes instead of 20, because I think both Beverly Hills and Miami ended on the 20th episode, because the 18th episode was the first part of their reunion. But for Potomac, next week I think is the last episode of the season, which will be episode 18. I'm just tired of this season, y'all. Like, it has dragged. It has really dragged. If we're going to be all the way 100, it has really dragged. Because it just, I think I had high expectations because they invited everybody back and we got one new housewife, which is NECA. I was like, okay, like maybe they really going to get into the Robin of it all and all of this stuff. And we have yet to do that. Like, Robin did 2 episodes and we were done. And I was just like, other than that, like, this season has been very uneventful. Very, like, to the point where they're using a fight that happened off camera when the cameras were down to, like, give us something. Don't like it. So pretty much, the episode opens up. We find out Karen is at the cardiologist with Ray. She's doing really well. The doctor basically said, your health is great. The plaque is pretty much gone. You did a good job. So Karen is relieved and happy, and so is Ray. We then see Giselle and Ashley with their designer, Desmond. I'm sorry, Desmond, but your clothes are ugly. Them clothes were... Their clothes were ugly, bro. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. But Desmond is their designer, and they're excited because they're actually at the venue where they're going to be showcasing the fashion show. And then we actually settle on our scene, like our opening scene with NECA and Ike. Mind you, I don't know if Ike is like a scrub influencer, if he is like because we've only seen Ike in clothes, like regular clothes, like one time, and that was like at the pickleball. And maybe 2 times. That was at the pickleball, and then when they did a flashback when NECA was talking to Lebe. Other than that, all we've seen is Ike in scrubs. I don't know if he is a Fig influencer. And if you don't know, Figs is a really good quality brand of scrubs that a lot of people use. They expensive scrubs. Them scrubs be like $50 and $60, but a lot of people like them. They are very comfortable. They come in like a myriad of different colors. That's really why people like them. It's because it's not like generic color. It was like solid colors, but they don't have the colors where the scrubs that have like, the colors on like the Disney and the dogs and the puppies. Some people really don't like that. So a lot of people like Figs because they're they're minimalistic and they're comfortable. And Madala is a good, I think it's Mandala or Madala. Either way, that's also a good brand and it's cheaper, but they still have the same like color scheme. They have different color schemes than Figs, but it's the same concept of like solid colors. So, but I'm just saying, we ain't never seen a man in like regular clothes. Like, how bad is his work schedule, girl? How bad? So pretty much they're at the doctor's office. It's time to inseminate NECA. So they actually go to like the room so she could give him like a hand job or he could do it himself. It was funny seeing production. Like, that lady was like, and then the guy with the camera was like, my God. Because they went into the room, they still had their mics on. I would have been like, can we unmic? Because this is very like awkward. But the nurse said no lube, no spit, no nothing. Like, it's going to contaminate our substances. It needs to be clean. That had like, I was like chafing. That had to be mad uncomfortable. So NECA is kind of like, I thought they was going to set the ambiance for us, dim the lights, have a cute little room. But they just told us to go. They was like, girl, no, go to the bathroom, rub one out, and let's go. So then we actually see NECA lay out onto like I don't know if you call it the operating table. Technically, I guess you can. I did think it was cool that Ike was like doing the ultrasound because he is a doctor. I was like, oh, that is true. Like, he could help. And then we actually see the doctor that's going to inseminate NECA with the sperm that I just, gave us. And they actually placed it into her uterus. So, I mean, is NECA my favorite? No, but I do hope she gets pregnant because she's doing all of this work and it seems like she really does want to be a parent. So hopefully, like, when we see her at the reunion, she lets us know that she is pregnant, or like if it didn't work, maybe they have more opportunity to. But I do hope she is pregnant because, like I said, you doing all of this work. I hope a baby come out of it. So the next scene we get is of Mia and Gordon going to going to therapy, which I'm gonna be honest. Now that we've seen Mia's new man and she out here, her going to therapy really isn't like, I don't care. You know what I mean? I don't. But, and mind you, Mia must have been messing with that man back in July, okay, of 2023. And the reason I say that is when Mia, because the night of the GNA situation, like, when we're going to talk about that, of that event, I uploaded a video talking about the actual altercation. And I think the video date published is like July the 15th or the 14th, 2023. Yeah, I think it says 2023. And when Mia sees Jacqueline's like, "Oh, girl, you looking good. You looking thick." And Mia's like, "Oh, I got good dick, or I got some good dick." I'm like, "Was you messing with that man back in July, Mia, after therapy?" But I was like, okay. So they go to therapy. They're going to couples therapy. So they're there. The counselor like, let's talk about that word of divorce, because she says she can sense some resentment from Mia right now. So Mia ends up saying she committed to G, and I said, you lying. I told y'all that lady was affected with liabilities. I said, girl, you're not committed to that man. You was committed to that bank account, and it's empty, and you want no parts. And so she ends up saying that, Mia ends up saying that Gordon was very like difficult. Like when she first thought about getting a divorce, she was like, he was very difficult, and he was difficult to work with, but he was also difficult at home. And she was like, I grew up with that type of energy and I don't want to live that now or with my kids. And I can't fault Mia for that. Some people grow up in like very toxic and chaotic environments, and they stay or they constantly get into relationships such as like romantic or just platonic, like friendship wise, where it's really toxic because they're comfortable there. It's comfortable, how to maneuver versus actually being in a healthy relationship. So Mia being like, I'm not doing that because I grew up that way. I can't be mad at her for being like, yeah, peace up, I'm out, bro. Deuces. You know what I mean? And so she ends up saying that when she first brought up divorce, Gordon emptied out the bank accounts. And see, I feel conflicted with this because on one hand, that's a messed up move. But on the other hand, if that's his money, that's his money. I think that's the issue with me when I think of people being like, I want to be a kept woman or I want to live this soft life. Like, there's nothing wrong with wanting that. Like, working sucks. Okay, whether you like your job or not, like people would like to do work as a hobby, not to like depend on it for like survival. But it's like when you solely rely on one person to take care of you, they do have all the power. And that is technically their money. It's not our money. Because I even have that mindset sometimes because I'm like, okay, if you at home, and then the difference for me with Mia is like you had help. Like you had a nanny. You were doing all of this stuff. You were just complaining earlier this season about it. So it's like, it wasn't like you were like a true stay-at-home mom. Like, and when I say that, I'm saying like a woman or a stay-at-home dad where it's just you and like 3 kids. That's different to me, where it's like it's you and you got 1 or 2. You got a nanny for each child. You're not doing anything. The nanny's doing something because they're at work, taking care of your kid. But it is messed up. But I'm also like, that's his money though. You got to have your own. You got to have your own. So then she ends up saying, Mia was just like, I'm really not happy. And then she ends up, what I put in my notes, y'all? I don't even know what I wrote. Scribble scrabble. But pretty much Gordon is deflecting. He's giving very much there's no war in bossing say. Shout out to all my people who get that reference, okay? Shout out to y'all. But he's giving very much there's no war in bossing say. He's giving that because he's talking about yeah, like I think we're fine, like the sex is fine, because they start talking, the therapist starts talking about intimacy, and Mia looks at him like, what is your definition of intimacy? At first, I thought they was going to talk about Gordon's limp, you know what? Because Mia has told us he has like erectile dysfunction, but she ends up siding to like, no, like he's not very romantic. And they went to premarital counseling and she almost didn't marry him because of that. I said, okay, Mia, because that lady, she be lying. And I don't know if I believe that. But Gordon ends up saying Mia doesn't give him the romance that he wants as well. Like when they come to bed, she's always on the phone. She's scrolling on social media. He tries to hug her. He tries to touch her. And Mia basically acts like that man got the plague and don't want to be touched. Like, stay away from me. Gordon ends up saying he doesn't want to feel like he's like a burden or something like that. And then Mia's in her confessional talking about next year, I hope we have better understanding of like where we're at. But we see where you at in a year. Girl, you with a whole new man that look like this man's like nephew or his son. Because they really do look similar. This new man and Gordon look similar. And then the therapist like, okay, well, y'all turn to each other and hold each other's hands. And Gordon ends up saying like, he feels like they pretty much have the best relationship like in the world. Because, if they were, at an even pace, like we would die. It didn't make sense. And you could see in Mia's face that like turned her off, because it's clear that they have issues and Gordon is deflecting. And I feel like Gordon is like the type of person that if I acknowledge it, that makes it real. But if I act like everything around me is okay, then it's not real. And I could see if it's making me think like if he had this behavior with his family and why they kicked him out the company, because maybe they were bringing issues to Gordon, but Gordon was like, oh no, we're good, we're great, everything's fine. And they're like, it's not fine, we're like, it's bad, bro. Like it's not okay, we're not okay. And he was just like, okay, no, it's good, we're great, we're fine, we have the best company in the world. So if he was acting that way, I can understand why they decided to cut their losses and be like, we can't do this anymore with you, sir. So the next scene we have is with Candace and Dr. Ken. Y'all remember Dr. Ken? I was so mad they went back to that therapy session where Candace lets us know her mama hit her in the head with a purse when they got into an argument. And the mama's like, well, these should have been talking. Mama Dot is funny. But it's kind of crazy to see how different Candace looks. And I'm not saying she got work done, but like age-wise, like she looks like so much younger versus now, where I think she still looks the same but more mature. That's what I'm trying to say. But she sits down with Dr. Ken and she's talking about IVF and Chris. She said her and Chris had a conversation about IVF because we collected eggs. I have eggs, they're frozen. Like I'm good to go, but she's still kind of nervous about starting the process of trying to conceive. She's just kind of like, I have so much going on. She's doing shows. I think she's going to be on Angela Yee's podcast as a guest host. She was singing at one of the, I think the Wizards game. Like she was at Billboard Awards. Like Candace is really like, she's acting like she has a lot of things going for her right now. And I think she's scared that if she has a kid, it will slow her down. But she also wants to have a family and it's just a lot. And she kind of feels guilty about it because it's like, am I using my career to not have a kid, or am I doing what's right for myself and trying to have a career, but am I also stifling the opportunity to become a parent, and am I running out of time to do so? And she's just like, like reasonable things to think of, especially as like a woman. And a woman, I think Candace is like 36 or 37, in her mid 30s. I think once you hit 40, it's called like a geriatric pregnancy. So it's like the things that she's considering, I don't think are bad things. It's just like, it's a lot to consider. And especially if your career is not where it's at. And I know a lot of people were like, well, think about all the girls who got pregnant at the height of their careers. You got Haley, what's her name? Cardi B. You got, who else? Who else got pregnant? Girl, Sexy Red. Yeah, it's sick. That new song she put out, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I'm super thick. Ah! Get it sexy. That song is going to be played throughout my car during the summer. Down, bow, bow, bow. Let me stop. But pretty much, they've gotten pregnant, but the difference to me is that like their careers were at a height where it's like you have solidified yourself. Well, I don't know. Cardi didn't solidify herself, but like I think she was able to bounce back a lot quicker. Just like Halle is a lot younger. Halle, I think, just turned like 22. Like having a baby that early, but the girl got a Disney deal. Like, and even with Sexy got multiple hit records. It's like Candace is not there yet. Like she's getting there, but she's not there yet. So I understand the hesitation, but I thought it was interesting when Dr. Kim was like, "Are you gonna let fear like stop you from being a mother?" And I was like, "Dang, that's deep." In the sense, like fear does stop a lot of people from doing things that they want to do because of the like what ifs. And then he was like, "What do you want?" And Candace is getting visibly emotional, like she always do. The cry angle is there. She is trying to keep it together. And she was like, "I want a child. I want a baby. Like, I want to be a mom." And he was like, I think this is the season you should do it. And it like calms her nerves because I think she just needed somebody that she trusts, that she really values their opinion to be like, "Girl, do what you want. If you want to try to have a baby, have a baby." And I hope she's able to have one. Same way I feel about NECA. Like, women should be able to have kids, have their careers, and have a happy and healthy life. So if Candace gets pregnant, congratulations to her. If NECA gets pregnant, congratulations to everybody. They got the money to take care of these kids. So it's a win-win in my opinion. So the next scene we get is actually a cool scene. It's a group scene with all of the ladies. And it was a vibe. Minus NECA wasn't there. So NECA pretty much wasn't invited to be a part of this scene because we find out that Mia got approached by the owner of this magazine called Monarch. I guess it's like a well-known black magazine in DC. And the owner, Will, decided, "Hey, I would like to ask the real women from the Real Housewives of Potomac to be a part of our cover spread for, I guess, that month," where they pretty much are using the women to embody famous black women in music and entertainment. And so NECA just got there. So Mia had to let NECA know on like another scene where she went out to dinner with her and pretty much said, "Girl, yeah, you can't be a part of this. You just got here. Sorry." It was Karen's face when everyone was looking for NECA and they told her, and Karen was like she was so appalled. She said, "Y'all did all that stuff for her to be the grand dame, not to invite her?" Side note, Wendy is so pretty. Like her outfit, I don't know, it was real basic, but she just looked really pretty to me in her outfit. It was just a white tank top and like this really pretty, like I like the color. It was like a burgundy, like it looked like a pleather or a leather skirt, but she looked nice. She looked really nice. So Candace is going to be Diana Ross, which I can see it. I just wish they would have gave her Diana's big hair because that's what I think of when I think of Diana Ross. And shouts out to Spillaboy TV. He was doing a review of Usher's Super Bowl performance, and he said that Diana's was one of his favorite, and I've never seen it. So when Diana performed, I was like a kid, like a toddler. Okay, so when I watched it, I was like, "Oh, this is a vibe." Okay, this is a vibe. It was cute. But yeah, like when I think of Diana, I think of like all that hair she has. And when they did the flashback of the photo shoot, Candace just had like a little like turban on. And I was like, where the hair? Same with Giselle. Giselle's gonna be Beyonce. I don't mind Giselle being Beyonce. A little people were like, but that's because people don't like Giselle. I don't mind. It makes sense, but I don't like the hair that they used on Giselle. When they did the flashback, her hair looked dry. Beyonce's hair ain't never looked dry. Like I was like, if y'all don't put no gel or no water or no moisturizer on that wig, then Karen is going to be Lena Horne. Ashley's going to be Dorothy Dandridge. Mia is going to be Pam Grier. Wendy is going to be Shirley Ralph. And all I thought about was be your dream. And then Robin is going to be Mariah Carey. And I love me some Mariah Carey, but the outfit that they had for Robin was so basic compared to everybody else's outfit. Like, it was given more like Faith Evans than Mariah to me, because when I think of Mariah, I think of like either Christmas, or I think of like just beautiful like glittery gowns like a pink, like just really sparkly or very champagne, and then her hair, like I think of that. I don't think of like, and maybe that's old Mariah, because old Mariah, I remember that one music video where she just had on like the white beater and like the jeans. But I'm like, I want Mariah with gowns, you know? So I was just like, this is real lame compared to everybody else. But it was a cute scene because everybody was enjoying each other, and it seemed like a vibe. So the next scene we have is Robin and Juan going to her she's looking for event space, not event spaces, but like store spaces. So, you know, Robin let us know that she is going to now be a franchise owner of this company called Glow 30, which is like a membership kind of like facial and skincare situation. Like you can go and get all of your cosmetic stuff done there. And Juan is with her. We find out that the building that they're looking at, the yearly rent is $68,563. I said, girl, I don't know if that's the rent or maybe they'll like the payments. They would divvy out the payments, but I was like, that's a lot. And I was like, Robin, do you have that? But she didn't seem fazed by it. She basically said with Juan losing his job, she realizes they needed to diversify their portfolio and they need stability, meaning Juan ain't got a job yet and it's all falling on her and she don't want that no more. She need more money, which is okay. But it was I don't know. I be feeling like, why is Juan here? I don't feel like he really gives any good input. I mean, he did ask a good question about how much the building was going to cost because they were there with a realtor. But other than that, I was just kind of like, I don't really like see it for Juan. But we find out that Giselle is going through it. Robin is sitting with Juan and she's pretty much like, I need to call Giselle. So he leaves the scene. So she calls Giselle and we find out that Giselle's dad is in the hospital. And production asked Giselle, like, can you explain to us like what's going on? And she was like, mm-mm. And I was like, yeah, I'm conflicted. This whole conflictions. This episode should be because in one regard, I understand her not wanting to speak about it because it is something that is so very personal. We know that Giselle loves her dad down, and to have to grapple with the fact that your father is dying of brain cancer is scary. It's scary and it's like gut wrenching. But on the other hand, I'm like, you don't share with us, and you're not entertaining enough not to share. Like, I used to, in my mind, compare Giselle to Heavenly, where we don't know a lot about Heavenly. But then when you think about it, we do know a lot about Heavenly. We know that her mom's died. We know that her relationship with her sister is contentious due to her mom pitting them against each other. We know that during her upbringing, she was in that room without any windows. She was the one that had to stay in the house and learn. The sister could be out running the streets. So we know things about Heavenly. We may not know a lot about her immediate family, but we know a lot about her. Giselle is the opposite. We don't really know anything about her. Last season, we found out that the lady had a sister. She had been on the show for 7 seasons and we didn't know anything about her having a sister. On top of that, she waited till the end of the season to let us know she had fibroids, and now it's the same thing happening. But I kind of I want to give her grace because also in that conversation, she talks about her dad lying to her for 2 weeks, not really telling her what was going on. So like, she didn't really know. So she going through a lot right now. And I want to give a lady grace, even though I don't like her, because that is a lot to be burdened with. And I mean, the good thing is like, she has her mom, but like Giselle said, like her dad is her, like she's a daddy's girl. That's her world. And I love my daddy. So I would be tore up I'd be no good if he were to leave me at this moment right now. So I can only imagine when you're older because you're so used to them being there and then they're not no longer there anymore. So next we have Wendy's pilot episode. So she's shooting for her TV show or her YouTube show. Like I told you, I don't watch her YouTube channel, but I've heard pretty good things about it. In the pilot episode, she is sitting down with April Ryan. I know who she is. I always see her during election season and on my timeline, and I always see her when they do like what's it called, the press debriefings at the White House. And then the Jasmine brand, people follow the Jasmine brand or Jasmine. And then this lady named Nakardria Robinson, she owns this company called Black Girls Vote. I've never heard of it, but that's not to say it's not popular. And then Lindsay Garnier, she is like a host. Wendy says she's hosted The View and several other like really notable talk shows. So she has a nice lineup of women. We see the setting. She's getting ready. It's a really nice setup. We end up seeing the girl who is the producer, and Wendy's like, "Are we over budget?" And then you hear a producer say, "Yeah, are y'all over budget?" And the lady's like, "I'm not comfortable saying that." So I guess that was pretty much confirmation that they are over budget, because if they weren't, she would have said no. And then Wendy was like, "Yeah, they blew through their $20K budget." And I'm like, where did $20K go? Like, maybe the $20K went to like renting the event space to do this and set up, or maybe they paid the women to come and sit down. But I'm just kind of like, girl, and maybe it's just like I take for granted like other shows that look way professional online. Like I used to watch this one show called The Grapevine. It no longer exists anymore, but it was a really good show where they had like really good conversations about the Black community, and they talked about like relationships, about politics, or like fame, and like a lot of cool things. And they had cameras, but like I got why they had so many cameras, because they had so many people. Whereas I feel like, girl, you don't need that many cameras or that many people because you're just starting out. But that's just my take. We see Eddie write a $50,000 check, and I'm like, y'all spent $50,000 on this? But I'm hoping she making a lot of money or making good revenue in YouTube views with this show, because that's a lot. That's a lot. So we get to the end of the episode, which is the GNA event. We see Ashley, we see Giselle. We find out that Giselle has been flying back and forth from Maryland to Atlanta to check up on her dad. And you can tell her head's not there because she's worried about her father. Like, she just wants to get through the day and be in Atlanta to be with her daddy at the hospital, because I guess the next day is going to be the day he actually gets surgery. So then we see Desmond again. We see Ashley, like, she's thanking them because she was like, I've dropped the ball, but you two guys picked it up. And they're not really giving her any flack because they understand the seriousness about what she's going through. Then you see Karen come. So Karen pops up first. She was just like, I just want to make sure you're okay, like what's going on. And just Karen even says she could tell that Giselle's been crying because her eyes are red. And she was just like, I think everything's going to be okay. We hope everything's going to be okay. But Karen was like, I just need to lay eyes on her. Because, Karen and Giselle do have a frenemy relationship, but Karen don't be playing when it comes to people losing their parents, because she lost both of her parents in like a span of 2 years. So I think she really does have compassion and care when it comes to this type of situation. So then we see Sheila show up. Ashley is excited to see her mom because she thought her mom wasn't coming. Then we see Cherise pop up. Wendy comes. Robin actually looked good. That white outfit was really cute on Robin. I just didn't like her hair. I wish she had probably that red hair that she was rocking when everybody was comparing her to Reba. I'm a survivor. But I think it was a really cute, the white outfit with the kind of like the bralette. It was a cute outfit on Robin. Then we see NECA. NECA looks really nice with the long hair. Then Jacqueline gets there, and then we see Candace, and then we see Mia. Girl, then Deborah, a.k.a. Deborah. Deborah gets there, a.k.a. Cookie Monster, a.k.a. Sid the Kid, a.k.a. Bert. Is it Bert or is it Ernie? The one with the angry eyebrows. Girl, we see Deborah. And production is a mess because they keep playing that like slasher horror music when she pop up. You got Wendy's face like, Of course, Ashley would bring Deborah, but I mean, the event was open to everybody. I think that's the only, because I feel conflicted. Again, I'm conflicted throughout this episode. The conflictions of me. That's what this episode should be called. But pretty much, it's like it was an open party event, like for the general population. Like it seems like it just wasn't only a cast event. Like there was a lot of other people there that they had invited. So if Ashley truly is friends with Deborah, I wouldn't think she wouldn't invite her. But Ashley should have gave Deborah like strict rules of you do not go near Candace or Wendy. Like stay within our friend group, mingle with other people, but don't go near them. And production should have told Deborah when she stepped up in the scene, you go near them, we're escorting you out. Like, protect your talent, production. Protect them. So she shows up. Like I said, Wendy makes a face. But then I felt like Wendy was being hella fake because I'm not hugging somebody I don't like. Like, Wendy was talking to some girl named Brittany about like soccer. And then Deborah's like making her rounds, hugging on everybody, wanting to be seen, being thirsty. And then Wendy's like, oh, hey, Deborah. The girl, Deborah was like, hey, Wendy. And Wendy's like, hey, Deborah. I'd have been like, oh, no, don't hug me. Don't touch me. I would have stepped to the side where Brittany was. And then when after Deborah finished hugging Brittany, I would have stepped back in my place to let her know, don't come near me. Like, don't touch me. Like, I don't like you, lady. You lied on my husband. Like, blatantly lied on my husband. Girl, don't play with me. Don't play in my face. So Kiarna gets there. Mia makes that like she did comment. And then they're asking about the pictures being released, and they're like, oh, Mia said we're gonna get him in like 2 days, and they're having like a party release event party to like do the reveals of the pictures. All right, y'all. So this fashion show. I sorry to Desmond, but it was a fool. It sucks so bad. Like, I didn't think a fashion show could be worse than Sheree's that we saw last season, because the difference to me is that at least some of the fashions that we saw online from Miss Sheree were on the website. Even though the website wasn't up and they had wrinkled t-shirts on there, they still had some of the workout outfits that we saw on there. They don't have any of that. And I checked before I did the video. The website doesn't have like any of the fashion we saw on there except possibly the t-shirt. I don't even think we saw the skull cap. They still have just the skull cap, the baseball cap, a t-shirt, a hoodie, and some socks. And that's it. And it does say at the top, like, spring collection coming 2024, but we don't see any of that. And honestly, with all the eyes that were on Potomac, and I know that it's not a lot because them ratings is going down, but you still had enough to where, like, I bet you people that wanted to buy it would have bought it because they like Ashley and they like Giselle. So I feel like it was a wasted opportunity to not update your website with the fashions or any new stuff as it is when you guys had all the eyes on you last night. So Wendy and Candace is shading the outfits. People were mad about that, especially when Candace was like, it looks like it gives you a yeast infection. Some of them outfits did. I'm not gonna lie. But I was more so on her side when she said they look hot. Like, this one lady had on like a spandex jumpsuit, and I was like, that does not look comfortable. Because when I think of like athleisure wear, I think of like, okay, I can wear it at the gym or I can wear it at home. Like, it's breathable. It has the leggings type of fabric, but you could also wear it with like a jacket or a hoodie or something. Like, it's versatile. None of the stuff that I saw coming down that line was versatile to me, like, except they had like the spandex biker shorts, and you don't have to buy that off of Ashley and Giselle's website. You can get that at Target or Walmart or Amazon or any other place that sells those types of clothes. So like Candace says, this was just an upgraded version of Alibaba. Okay, an upgraded version of AliExpress, girl. So they end up finishing, and that's the other part. Someone tried to argue me about about their fashions, about Giselle and fashions. And I was like, I got what they were saying. And I don't even want to say it was an argument. They were just making a comment on a post that I made on Twitter. My thing is like Giselle and Ashley compared their line to like, or said that their line, they got inspiration from like Lululemon and Fenty. Like Lululemon, I just think of like leggings, like overpriced leggings. But people say they are wonderful leggings. Fenty, I think of like bras and panties. I really don't think about like leggings. So I'm just kind of like, you don't have bras and you didn't have leggings on the website. So what is this? So the fashion show ends. They do like that walkthrough where they walk down with all the girls. Then we end up seeing Desmond come out, the designer. They clap for him. And then Giselle makes a speech about how she pretty much dropped the ball because she's going through something with her family. But these two picked it up, you know, giving them their props. And everyone's like, okay. So then it's a group. It's Karen, Mia, Candace, Kiarna, and Wendy. And they're like kind of standing. And Mia's like, you know, Giselle's going through a lot, you guys. You know, her father is going to be in surgery. And Candace said, well, I feel for her and I can, you know, send my positive vibes and my well wishes afar. Because Mia was like, why can't you say that to her? And I'm with Candace. Like, you can wish somebody well afar. Now, this is the comment that got a lot of people upset with Miss Wendy. And what I said online, I still feel this way. I said I'm conflicted by what Wendy said. Because in one regard, I understand why people were rubbed wrong with her statement. On the other end, it's like Giselle told Wendy, I don't like her. I don't care what happens to her at the last season's reunion. So if you don't care or you don't like somebody, why would you think that they would be empathetic or sympathetic or have compassion for you and what you're going through? And I feel like a lot of people were conflicted because, one, we don't like to see it from Giselle, because Giselle to me is the least compassionate person on this cast. Like, she don't be caring. And it's hard to see that, but I think it's also hard to see it from Wendy, because I think some people held Wendy in a higher regard. Like, they didn't think she would be like that. But it's like, well, if you don't care about what happens to me and mine, why should I care about what happens to you? Because Wendy ends up saying, like, y'all, like, my mom was getting surgery and y'all made fun of it. And I'm like, did they? Because I don't remember seeing that. But also, I'm like, Wendy, nobody knew your mom was getting surgery because you didn't tell anybody. On top of that, your mom's surgery was elective. Not saying that like elective surgery isn't like just as dangerous as needing to have surgery, but I like comparing the two, to me, doesn't make sense. To me, it would have been better if Wendy would have just been quiet. If she would have just been quiet. And I think that's the issue, is Wendy does not, like, sometimes she just needs to learn, don't add your 2 cents. The same way when she spoke up about Grace and being in Florida and how Florida is unsafe. At this moment, if she wasn't going to say something along the lines of what Candace said, then you just should have been quiet, in my opinion. I just wouldn't have said nothing. I just would have been like, and sipped on my drink and kept it cute, you know? So the ladies toast. We see all the ladies sitting down on the sofa. They do the cheers. What I will say is funny is, I didn't mention this, when Wendy came in and was saying congratulations to Ashley before the fashion show started, she was like, congratulations. And then she saw Giselle and she said, congratulations, but she didn't go near her. I was like, ooh. I mean, at least she said congratulations. But they toast, they talk about like everyone, like people that care, like we're proud of them. And then they danced the night away. Giselle ended up leaving early. Then the screen went black and it pretty much said that so y'all, why was Deborah there? Why? Like, Deborah is one of the thirstiest and most like dehydrated people I have ever seen on reality TV, who is not even a part of a show, but just wants to be in the mix so badly and cause so much chaos and confusion. If I was Deborah's husband, I would be ashamed to be married to her. Like, I'd really be like, this is who you chose to be with? Like, this is, like, if I was friends with Deborah, I would be like, yeah, she a liability. Because one, even though I don't like Ashley and this fashion show was a fool, and Ashley, well, you know what? No. No, Ashley gets what she get because Ashley is messy and she brought Deborah for mess and you got mess because you had brought somebody that you knew was that thirsty to do some bull that she just like what she pulled. Like Deborah looked a mess. On top of that, bro, she's a joke to production because every time she comes around, they use the horror music and she messed up. Like your event wasn't even about your fashions, even if they were bad or not. It was about a fight that your friend caused who basically disrespected you because she couldn't even do this in like she couldn't even pick a different place. So I wrote down the conversation. So Deborah approaches Candace after the cameras are down, but their mics are still on. And she's like, Candace, is there anything that you and she got cut off because Candace said absolutely not, which she had the right to. People mad that Candace is calling that lady to help. She is the help. Cause girl, you're not a main character. You're here to help the storyline along, but you shouldn't even be here, to be honest. So Candace is like, the help is talking to me. Like somebody come get her away from me. Then Deborah ends up being like, you called me Sesame Street. You didn't say anything in front of my face. Mind you, Deborah, you were harassing that lady online. You were adding her every time in your Insta story. You were always trying to hype up like you were more important to the storyline in Potomac. You put Potomac in your bio, girl. What? You're not even featured on the show. You just have a name card, ma'am. A name card. You don't even have a confession. You have nothing. Then you did that cringy video of you where you bought puppets that still had the tags on them, doing your makeup, drinking out of a Cookie Monster cup, looking like a lame. You looked lame. It didn't eat. Also, then Kiarna ends up saying, it's not the place. It's not. She said that Kiarna said that like 2 or 3 times. Like, this is not the time and place to do this. And then Kiarna's like, is that your friend? I don't know if she was saying this to Ashley, but she was like, is that your friend? Like, girl, get your friend. So then Deborah said, but I'm in front of you and you don't want to say anything. And then next thing you know, you hear, stop, 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 stop. And that was Ashley screaming. Mind you, I have a video where I broke down the whole entire fight. I will link that in my bio below. But Deborah started this whole situation verbally and physically. I don't know, like that's what you get for going and being that thirsty for a moment and you got your ass beat, which was deserved. Okay, lady. And I'm not trying to say we advocate violence over here at Leology's channel, but ma'am, when you do this type of, when you look for trouble, trouble finds you. And that's basically what happened. Like you're a coward on top of that. You're a thirsty, clout chasing coward, bro. Like, when you look at the video on TMZ, the video is 19 seconds long. At the zero, when it's 0-0, because I slowed that video down, Candace was dancing when she was ignoring Deborah. Deborah reaches over and pours her drink on Candace. Like, I don't think she got it on her, but it looked like she was trying to pour it on her when Candace started ignoring her. That's when Candace turned around and grabbed the bottle like, what you doing? And then Kiarna, when Deborah was pouring, pushes Deborah's hand out the way. Deborah retaliates, hits Kiarna in the face with whatever glass or mug that she had. That's when Kiarna pops Deborah back and they get the fight. Then Ashley's friend in the line that does not need to be ever asked back grabs Kiarna from the back of the head and drags her to the floor. And then they're on the floor like fighting. Mind you, Kiarna got a little whops in. She got about two face shots in. But I'm just like, Ashley, you're a joke and your friend group's a joke. Because that lady purposely came there to ruin your event, and she did, because we're not even talking about them horrible fashions. We're talking about your fight. And that's what you get. That's what you get for having friends like that you know for a fact are liabilities. That is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic, and definitely hop down in the comments below and let me know your thoughts about this episode. And I'm out, y'all. Deuces.